Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Make It Make, where I always try to encourage you guys, if you can't get it to make, then make it make with what you have in your house. All right, so today is going to be one of those videos that you have actually requested. I had a couple people request on how to make sofrito, and it actually got me thinking that, you know what, having sofrito, traditionally we usually have it in the freezer, whether it's in one large ice cube block that you chip away at. It's pretty much a pain in the butt. Or you freeze it in ice cube trays and then transfer it into a gallon bag or something to just pull it out. I don't want to do that anymore. I figured, you know what, I want to do it like they have it at the stores. I can just open it up and just scoop out the sofrito that I want and be able to just using as my cooking base right when I need it. I don't want to deal with the thawing process, chipping away, none of that stuff. So that is what we're gonna do today. It took me some time to come up with a canning recipe for it, but I think you'll be very pleased with it. So anyway, with that said, let's get to it.
Sofrito is a guaranteed staple in the pantry. It is not just for Latin cooking. This cilantro and sweet pepper cooking base can be used as a marinade for beef and chicken on the grill, tomato-based soups, spaghetti sauces, and much more. The first ingredient you want is a pepper called ají dulce. If you do not have this, a great substitute would be a sweet chili pepper. Next, a couple garlic cloves, green peppers, Spanish onions, 1 bunch of cilantro, 1 bunch of recao. This is a cousin to the cilantro plant. If you do not have it, just stick with using the cilantro. It should be fine. Next, make sure you thoroughly wash all your ingredients. Take the recao plant and cut off any ends that are browning. Take your ají dulce and start cutting off the tips and de-seeding them. Roughly chop your peppers and de-seed. And the same for your onions.
All right, I have everything here ready to go to be processed in the blender. I've got our chopped vegetables here. I got our cilantro here, the recao, and a bunch of garlic cloves here. Now, I'm not gonna use all of these garlic cloves. I'm just gonna taste and go, which brings me to my next point. Traditionally, at least in my culture, Puerto Rican food, we don't really have exact measurements and recipes. Most of us have learned from other people who have done it before, like our grandmothers and our mothers, and we've just learned like that. If you go online for a sofrito recipe, every single one is different because everybody makes them different. So put it all in the blender, however you want to tailor it to your liking, to your taste, and that's what I would go with. But definitely you're gonna want a bunch of cilantro, I can tell you that.
At this point, what you want to do is start gradually adding ingredients to the blender and blending them down. If your blender does get stuck, it is okay to add about a tablespoon of water to help out.
All right, keep adding to it slowly because you want it to be a puree, but it's pretty thick, so it's gonna take some time, but you'll get there.
The consistency you are looking for your sofrito should look like this. Now it's time for the canning process. For this recipe, you want to pressure can for 40 minutes at 11 pounds of pressure. If you've never pressure canned before, I do have videos for them in the description. The processing time for this recipe is good for jars up to a pint. Fill up the jars, leaving a ½ inch of headspace. And now we are adding our rings until they are fingertip tight. And now adding the jars to the pressure canner. And there you have it, a no freeze, ready to use sofrito recipe right when you need it.
All right, that is the video. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you do make sofrito and you make it differently than I do, then by all means, let me know what it is that you do, because I love to switch it up in my kitchen. Other than that, if you try out the recipe, let me know how it turns out, because I would like to hear about that as well. Just so you know, a quick disclaimer, this is a canning recipe, but because there is no canning recipe for sofrito that you could do at the home, that means that it is a non-USDA approved recipe. So this is just my recipe and what I came up with. I did take a lot of time in researching the vegetables and the acidity for each one of them, and that is why I went with the pressure canning method. So please, if you are going to do this recipe, you cannot water bath it, it must be pressure canned. And I feel really confident with it, and I really don't have any worries for this recipe at all. But I just wanted to let you know that. All right, so other than that, as always, take care and God bless.